Dr. Jesse Haid. I'm here at Generation Next Fertility, and today we're going to talk about COVID, everyone's favorite topic, 2020, now 2021. So let's talk about, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet going around, and what they're telling people is that don't do the vaccine, you'll develop infertility, you'll have other issues that will cause miscarriages. And I will tell you that none of this is true, and we are recommending at this point for couples and women especially who are trying to achieve pregnancy and do infertility treatments to get the COVID vaccinations, please. Remember, the vaccine is always safer than the disease itself, because we do know that if you are pregnant at the time and you do develop a COVID infection, that puts you in the high-risk category, and you know what happens with high-risk categories. Sure, the COVID vaccine is a non-living virus. It's actually just particles of RNA. It's not DNA. So there are rumors going around where if you take the vaccine, that will incorporate into your genetic material. That is a false statement, because this is RNA, not DNA. The difference is DNA, which is the genes that encode for information. To make proteins, DNA has to be unwound, a little segment of molecules that you have come in, code for a certain section, makes RNA, that RNA then leaves the nucleus, goes into the cytoplasm, where it's then translated to make information of proteins. The proteins are what give the instructions on how to run cells. So here in the COVID vaccines, what they are is just giving pieces of the RNA that can go and code for proteins, and the proteins that they're making are generally the spike proteins and maybe some other proteins as well, so that it helps your immune system just recognize the outer layer and code of a COVID virus when it comes into your body. That's how it's protective. It's completely safe because it's just RNA. There is no living virus in a COVID vaccine. You cannot get COVID from the vaccine, but you may feel crummy after getting the vaccine. And that's because it's priming your immune system. And when your immune system gets primed, in order for your immune system to make a lot of cells, and a lot of cells that are fighting other things, it needs to create heat. Heat is what activates this whole thing, and that's why some people will develop fevers following this. You may feel achy and sore, because that shows you your immune system is functioning and attacking the cells that are actually coding these mRNAs to make little spike proteins, and your body's then recognizing and attacking those cells. So once the attack is over, those cells are gone. There's no more mRNA in your body, so it's a very finite period of time that it actually lasts inside of you. The question is will the vaccine actually create problems if you're breastfeeding, or even if you're trying to get pregnant? We will tell you with any vaccine, if you are pregnant, the problem is that it's not the vaccine that will create harm. Fevers in general, so if you respond to a vaccine and you develop a fever, that fever, by raising your temperature, actually helps deoxygenate the bloodstream. By deoxygenating the bloodstream, that may cause other issues if you were pregnant, or not necessarily breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is actually great because your immune cells get transferred into that breast milk and will be given to your baby, because your baby's too small. You can't give an adult-sized vaccine for a newborn baby. So because these are new methods of how they created the vaccines, there's just less known. And I think that there should be more data before we start 100% saying that everything is absolutely safe. But the way it's looking now, everything should be safe, and it's always safer to get a vaccine than it is to get a disease. The question is, does COVID cause infertility? It's not, no. All I can tell you is that if you get COVID, we know that it affects a lot of different supporting cells. So some of the supporting cells that are in the ovary, can that impact those cells? Possibly, but what's the impact going to have? There are no known cases of infertility resulting from a COVID infection. The problem is those people who get very severe COVID infections, what happens? They die. That's really bad. That is the worst for your fertility you could ever have. You need to be alive to have a baby. So I would tell you, get the COVID vaccine. ASRM, ACOG, all the medical societies are advising everyone to take the vaccine. They're always very cautious. They say that we don't know the effects of adult-sized vaccines in younger patients or younger people under 16, and we don't know the effect on women who are pregnant. Again, because when you develop fevers, can that adversely affect the pregnancy? So it's just things are unknown, but it's still recommended in high-risk populations. They should 100% under all circumstances get the vaccine. The personal decision should be you want to help yourself and you want to help your family, your friends, your neighbors, the people that are in your community. The only way we can help each other is to protect each other, and that is by getting the vaccine. More than 80% to 85% of the community needs to be vaccinated to stop the spread so we can all go back to a normal life. I love telemedicine, but I'll be honest with you, I do like seeing people in person way better than seeing people through a Zoom or some other means of a phone call. But please, that's the only way we can do it, is we have to help each other. I want to tell everyone it's safe. I've taken it. I'm not going to lie. I felt crummy for about 48 hours after the second dose, but well worth it. I feel like Superman now. That's it.
Yay!